Busy day in the country's courts today. The fraud case against SAFA boss Danny Jordaan has been postponed to August. He appeared in the Palm Ridge Magistrate's Court alongside his co-accused Gronie Hluyo and Trevor Neethling. Newzroom Afrika's Benjamin Leshoro sat through those proceedings. He joins us live from there. Benjamin, good morning to you. What happened in court today?
Well, Michelle, good morning to you. It was a relatively short appearance compared to the last time we were here, where we spent around 9 hours with a couple of matters being deliberated in court. So this morning, essentially, it was a request for a postponement, which was subsequently granted by Magistrate Sharon Soko. It was the application by Advocate Norman Arendse representing accused number 1, Danny Jordaan, and accused number 3, Gronie Hluyo, and to postpone the matter up until the 15th of August this year. The reason for this was that yesterday, the defense team of those two gentlemen filed papers at the High Court to challenge the decision by this court the last time we were here to dismiss their application for the matter to be struck off the roll. So they are still awaiting for that matter to be heard. There's another submission by the defense lawyer of accused number 2, Trevor Neethling, who's James Ndebele, straight to the Director of Public Prosecutions. But let me bring in the NPA's Phindi Mjonondwane to give us more on what took place in court today. Phindi, thank you so much for your time. If you could come a little bit closer. Let's start with the dropped charges. I understand that there's some dropped charges by the state. Why is this, and what are those charges?
Well, you'd recall that at this stage, we have presented the court with a provisional charge sheet. So once information becomes available, information that changes the complexion of the case, as the state and in terms of the law, we can still alter the charge sheet. So depending on the information that becomes available, we can still add charges or remove charges as we have done. But once we reach the plea and trial stage, then we have to provide the court with our final charge sheet.
Would you say then it's a concession by the state that you might have jumped the gun, because you mentioned that there's a further investigation that revealed other factors that influence that? Is it a concession that the state jumped the gun?
No, definitely not. You would recall that accused number 2 made representations to the regional head of the Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit. So with information that has been made available, the state had to conduct further investigations emanating from the information that was provided by accused number 2 in his representations, which is a normal course in criminal proceedings. So as I've indicated, that as in when information becomes available, we have to act upon such information. And where we have to withdraw charges as a state, we will not hesitate to do so, because we are not in a business of persecuting people.
Finally, quickly, Mr. James Ndebele also has some submissions to the DPP. Can you take us through that?
Well, as I've indicated earlier, that the representation submitted by his client, accused number 2, Mr. Trevor Neethling, were unsuccessful at the stage of the regional head. Now they have decided to escalate the representations to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. So depending on that outcome of the Director of Public Prosecutions, should the representations be successful and in favor of accused number 2, then we might have to reconvene at an earlier date than the 15th of August. But should they be unsuccessful, then we will be back in court on the 15th of August.
All right. Phindi Mjonondwane of the NPA, thank you very much. And that is the latest from court here in the matter involving SAFA President Danny Jordaan, CFO Gronie Hluyo, and Trevor Neethling of Grid Communications. And it's been postponed up until the 15th of August, with those matters still to be deliberated, and some of them in the High Court.